The fastest way you can travel on land without a motor is to cycle. In the sprint at the end of a race, like this one on the Herne Hill track, speeds of about 40 miles an hour are not uncommon. A fair rate, with nothing beneath you but a bit of steel tubing and two slim air-filled compartments. This meeting was a London-Paris intercity match, when the home team ran off with the honours. Racing's only a small part of the cycling picture, though. There are about 8 million bikes on Britain's roads, and it looks as if quite a high percentage of them are here this afternoon. No wonder veterans complain that the individuality has gone out of cycling today, not to mention the elegance and many of the thrills. When these were the latest models, first aid equipment for cuts, bruises and gravel rash was a must in every saddlebag. Bone Shaker was an apt name for this contraption. The pedals were a step forward, a long time before the chain came in. And this penny farthing has at least outlived one of the coins it was named after. Bicycle manufacture in Britain today is highly concentrated. 80% of the output is made by the group that controls this factory, the biggest in the world. It all starts with 15 feet of steel tubing. That's going to be the frame, which takes all the stress and strain. In recent years, the trend has been away from plain black machines. Colors are getting brighter and brighter. It's an odd reflection on growing prosperity that more small wheels are being made now. Bigger wage packets mean more people can buy bikes for their kids, and fewer adults need to ride to work now they can afford cars. Fewer bicycles are being sold at home than before the war, but overseas, sales are rocketing, so the total manufacture is well up. Some of these machines will be going to Malaya, some to New Zealand, Canada, North and South America, and many parts of Africa. 3 million children in Britain cycle to school every morning. In the first 5 months of 1960, 39 of them were killed and nearly 5,000 injured. A scheme for training children in safe cycling was recently launched. In the first 18 months, nearly 200,000 pupils were trained by 2,000 volunteer instructors, teachers, policemen, club leaders amongst them. The number is growing. Today's school cyclists are tomorrow's drivers, and cycling can help in learning caution and roadmanship. This test is reminiscent of bending posts at a gymkhana, but it's a serious guide to stability and control. Fewer people cycle for pleasure these days. More are taking to mopeds and scooters. And a growing number of people seem to find a less strenuous way of passing the weekend. But there are still about 1,500 cycle clubs, whose members go for regular rides and rambles all the year round. Britain is not the most cycle-minded nation. Holland has that distinction. It also has the flattest roads, which may be a reason. One thing a bicycle has over cars: if you run out of road or take the wrong turning, you can always cut across open country. The Bagshot Rally is a grueling wintertime test of stamina. The organisers claim that most of the circuit is rideable. Hazards include mud, sand, and hills with a gradient of 1 in 4, but they can't guarantee snow every year. it's a moot point whether riders carry their bikes farther than their bikes carry them. One can only hope the winner has it all downhill going home afterwards. The average life of a bicycle is 7 to 9 years. It's still the most popular way of getting to work in many industrial areas. More people than you'd think still use bicycles for their jobs too. Policemen, for example. And the errand boy, who is not so often seen in city streets these days. There are other peddlers too, perhaps encouraged by the rising price of fuel or departmental economy. 20 to 30 years ago, cycle tracks were built alongside new main roads. They were little used, and no more are being made. Bicycling organizations saw the tracks as a threat to the cyclist's right to use the main road, although no compulsion was used to keep cyclists on the tracks. Whether this was so or not, there is no pedal cycling on the M1 and other new motorways. Douglas Isle of Man, with its big wheel, doesn't mean only motorcycle tourist trophy races. Once a year, bicycles compete over the same tough track that the motorbikes use. There were 90 riders at the off here, though not all of them stayed the course. It's not only a test of speed and stamina, but some of the bends are so tricky that they can't be taken at full speed. Anyone who's followed road cycle racing in a car knows that astonishing speeds are reached, although accidents are rare. A competitor who crashed into a car or wall would stand little chance. André Darrigard of France, the home of road cycle racing, is the cycling champion of the world and won the victor's laurels on this occasion. The great cycling event in this country is the 1,500-mile Tour of Britain. 85 competitors, including teams from 7 countries as well as British regional teams, started out. After the mass start, competitors thin out, and many of them drop out or are eliminated for not finishing their stage in time. "23¼ miles per hour was the winner's average over 12 days along a route that takes in Welsh mountains and Lake District peaks. Besides the prize for the winner of the whole tour, there are separate prizes for each stage. Here, Adamson of Sweden gets the prize for the 6th stage, the 139-mile hop from Great Yarmouth to London. There are 15,000 racing cyclists on Britain's roads today, which suggests that 2 assets we still possess are wind and staying power.